Okay, so hey guys, I just wanted to come on and wish myself a happy birthday. I just turned 30 on yesterday, June 24th. So I'm still kind of processing that, trying to figure out what that means. I don't know. Shout out to my birthday twin, Solange Knowles. We were born on the same day, same year, so shout out to you, girl. But it's got me thinking about the lessons that I've learned in my life so far, all the wisdom that I've acquired in my 30 years. And one of the topics that I want to talk about and that I feel like I have something to share on is bullying because, I know it's been a really big problem, in our culture for the past couple years and whatnot. It seems like it's getting worse and worse, with some kids dying from it and, a lot of kids struggling with, the attention that it brings and, some kids even committing suicide. And, it's just very, very tragic. And it's like, the way that that situation is handled nowadays is so different from when I was growing up. In my day, a bully wasn't a life-threatening situation. It was something that could be used to build some strength, build some character in you. And parents didn't take it seriously. In fact, they would tell you, go handle that, like, stand up for yourself. Like, that is what's going to build a backbone in somebody. But nowadays, it's like you can't really, even look at it like that because it's kind of dangerous. Like, kids are actually dying over this. So I just wanted to kind of share my story, with bullying and kind of, I don't know if it can be some type of insight to somebody out there who's going through this. So fair warning, I do cuss. I don't censor myself. Just a fair disclaimer. So basically, I was bullied really, really bad in elementary school, fourth and fifth grade to be exact. And I mean, when I tell you, this girl made my life a living hell. I mean, she made my life hell. Okay, it was this girl named Ebony, and I don't know what her problem was with me other than just like self-hate, but she was everywhere. Okay, she lived around the corner from me, so we rode the same bus to school. We stood on the same bus stop. She was in my homeroom. She was in all of my classes except for two. So there was no escaping her. If we weren't in school, I have to see her on the weekends playing around the neighborhood with the kids. Like, she was always there. So I really just didn't get a break from this girl. And it was hell. I mean, I think I cried my way to school every day. I cried on the way home every day. She would say, oh, you so ugly, or, like, your nose is so wide, your lips are really wide, like, why are you so dark, why you look like an African, why you look like a monkey, like, why you so ugly. And the ironic part was that not only, she black, like, this is coming from another black girl, but she was darker than me, like, darker than me, like the color of this hat. Okay, she was dark. Her name was Ebony, and she looked ebony. Like, she was dark. And I mean, not to say that that made her ugly or anything. And in fact, I always thought she was beautiful. I was raised in a type of household where, I was always taught from an early age who I am and to know where I come from and appreciate that. So I never had a problem with my features or anything like that. Irony, blonde hair, but whatever. Like, I rock my natural hair. I have no problem with my natural hair and what God gave me. So anyway, basically what would happen is, like, and she had two minions that would follow her everywhere, a guy and then another girl. And so, the three of them, they'd be waiting for me. First thing in the morning, as I'm walking up to the bus stop, as soon as I came into their sight, they would start going off. Like, oh hell, here come ugly, oh shit, look at her, like. And then, how kids are, they would get like everybody else involved too. And I would just try my hardest to block them out and not pay attention to them, but it would get really hard. And then once we got on the bus, they would sit in the seat right in front of me, and they would turn around and face me and just completely just talk shit the whole ride to school. And it's like they knew exactly what to say. They wouldn't stop until I started crying. And my thing would always be like, don't let them see me cry. But I mean, after, a 10-minute, 20-minute ride, it's like you can't really help it. And they would just be like, you are so ugly. Like, do you know that? Like, you ain't shit. Like, what is wrong with you? Your nose is so wide. Ew, ew, look at you. Look at that. Like, like nobody's going to like you. Don't nobody want you. Like, crazy shit. And it's like, I'm not even going to get into the level of self-hate that was clearly going on with the girl. But and after a while, they would throw stuff at my head, and after a while, I would just like start crying, and I'm just sitting there like staring out the window, the tears coming down my eyes, like just trying to ignore them, staring off in the distance, and they loved it when I cried. Like when I would cry, that would just set them off even more, and they would just go even harder on me. So I put up with that shit for 2 years. 2 years, and I never did anything. And because my mom always told me, people can say anything they want about you, words are nothing, but if somebody puts their hands on you, then you have every right to defend yourself and go off. So I never ever touched her. I never retaliated. I didn't say nothing back. I would just mind my own business until one day. The day came and it went down. Okay, so we were on the bus as usual, except this morning she was not bothering me. And the only reason she wasn't bothering me is because she was doing her homework, like frantically doing her homework before we got to school. So I'm sitting here like in the seat, and I'm sitting on the end, and I got my legs turned out and towards the aisle. And so right across from me is my friend William, and he's sitting with his legs out facing me. And then she was sitting in the seat right in front of him with her legs out in the hall on the aisle doing her homework. And so me and him was kicking each other back and forth. Like we was playing this game to see who could kick each other the hardest before, giving up, like stupid kid stuff, whatever. So we was going at it, and this one time he kicked the shit out of my leg. I mean, oh my God, it hurt so bad. And I got pissed, like I got mad for real. So I went to go just kick him back with all my force, right? But of course my leg missed, and I kicked her legs. So all her homework, all her books and everything went flying all over the place, right? And it was a good kick too, because it was all, my leg was all strong from practicing with William and shit. So it was like everything I had, like I was ready. So she stops, looks up at me with the evilest look I've ever seen in my life. Like, bitch, I'm gonna kill your motherfucking ass. Like, that shit was so, I saw the hatred boil. Like I saw it happening in slow motion, right? I mean, the whole thing probably happened in a couple seconds, but for me, it was like slow motion. So even though I hated her and she was evil, I was gonna apologize. You know what I mean? Because I genuinely didn't mean to kick her. But before I could even part my lips to say sorry, she was getting up, and she had her fists up in the air like she was about to punch me in my face. So within the span of these 15 seconds or whatever that it's happening, I'm thinking, okay, this chick about to punch me in my face. I'm gonna have a black eye. I gotta walk around all day with that. Why would I just sit here and get punched in the face when I can clearly stop her before she hits me? So I picked my leg up, planted my foot right in the middle of her chest, and did the best kick I have ever kicked in my life. Like, I kicked the shit out of her. I kicked her so hard, she went flying all the way to the front of the bus and hit her head on the back of the driver's seat. And we were about midway, towards the back of the bus. Okay, when I tell you, she was so pissed. So she comes charging towards me, even more pissed now. So we going at it. Like, we are full on battling. Okay, like, and wasn't nobody breaking us up either. Her little minions didn't get involved. None of the other kids got involved. The bus driver ain't say shit because, but back then bus drivers ain't get involved. Nowadays, I think they'll stop it. Or I think they even have like companions that sit on the bus nowadays to make sure none of this type of stuff goes on. No, child. This was the 90s. Back in the 90s, bus drivers did not get involved. They was there for one thing, to get their check. And the only thing they had to do to get their check was pick your ass up, drop your ass off. Anything else that happened in between there, they did not see it. And then not only that, this driver knew how this girl made my life hell. So he wasn't going to get involved anyway. Like, nobody wanted to break up this fight. So we fight him the whole way to school. And she couldn't fight either. All that mouth, and she couldn't fight. I'm scratching the shit out of her. She had box braids in, so I'm ripping them braids out. Like, I'm tearing her ass up. She got like one slap on me and that was it. But I am tearing her up the whole way to school. And we went to school like out in the boondocks. So it was a ride. It was a good minute. We get to school, driver goes in, gets the principal, whatever, they come out, break it up. I didn't get in trouble. She got suspended for a whole week. And she had to walk around all day in school with my footprint on her chest. Because she had on a white blouse. I'll never forget. She had on a white blouse. And I was wearing a pair of Doc Martens. So she had my big ass footprint right in the middle of her chest. And I didn't get in trouble. Nobody even said anything to me. I didn't have to go sit in the principal's office. I didn't get a slap on the wrist. Like, everybody knew that this girl fucked with me and made my life hell every day. So nobody was surprised that this fight happened. I think they was happy somebody finally beat her ass because she was a badass kid. When I got home, my mom and my sister and my family, they were like, good for you. I'm proud of you. You stood up for yourself. Like, good. And you know what? She never fucked with me again. Ever. When I tell you that girl was so nice to me after that, so nice. Like, she wanted to be my friend. And I didn't have no time for her. I wasn't rude to her enough, and that's just not really my style. But so, during that time, it was that simple. Somebody's bullying you, you stand up to them one time, and they'll never mess with you again. Like, that's, that was the lesson in that. And it's crazy because I saw her again years later. I mean, this was when I was about 21. So probably, about 9 years ago, I saw her at a bus stop in the middle of town. I was like on my way home from work, and she saw me and recognized me. Like, she still remembered me. So she comes running up. She was like, hey, you remember me? It's Ebony from blah, 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 whatever. And I was like, I recognized her. I mean, she looked exactly the same. So I was like, oh, okay. And she was still trying to be like my friend and be so nice to me and stuff. And I'm just like, ain't this some shit? Like, it was crazy. Just like seeing how it all came back around full circle. But it was really, really interesting. But it's sad because I feel like nowadays these kids are not able to learn that lesson because it's so dang, you never know how crazy people are out there now. You go to stand up to somebody like that and end up getting cut or, beat to death. And then, they're recording it now and shit like that. Like, it's really, really sad. That opportunity is kind of gone. But at the same time, I also want to say to some of these kids, to get a little bit of a backbone and not, I know that times are really different now because cyberbullying is a thing, and it's different when it's online and you've got, hundreds or thousands of people all coming at you. But when I put myself in those shoes, I still don't think I would ever let it get to me to the point where I'd be trying to take my own life. Like, do you know how precious life is? I mean, they're words. Like, am I the only one out here? I feel like it's so ridiculous when I hear of these kids that are killing themselves because somebody was picking on them. I mean, I don't even really know what to say to that. It's like on one hand, I do believe that you should stand up to your bullies and that when you do that, they will not mess with you anymore. With caution, definitely with caution and be safe. Don't be out here, getting killed over the shit. But then don't also turn around and kill yourself over it. Like, it's not that serious. People will always talk shit about you your whole life. Trust me, it's not going to end, just when you get out of school. But you can't let it get to you to that point. And I mean, I didn't get bullied again, really, throughout the rest of middle school, high school. High school, I don't really feel like people bully in high school at all. I don't know. That wasn't my experience. In my experience, people in high school are too busy worried about themselves. Like, nobody cares enough to bully somebody else. Like, everybody's just doing their own thing. That's my experience. Somebody else may have another one, but yeah, like I don't know. I don't really know what the message is. It saddens me. It really does break my heart. Um, but just to some of the kids out there, try and get more of a backbone. Yeah, so basically that was all I wanted to say. Thanks for listening. Hit me up, Gemma Voshun, on all social media. Snapchat, I'm on there. Twitter, I'm kind of on there a little bit. Facebook, it is Gemma Voshun as well. So yeah, I hope you guys got something out of this. I know it was kind of all over the place, but thanks for listening, and please subscribe if you like, and share this video too. Thanks.